All right, good day, everybody. Well, I'm really pleased to announce that this dark mode feature is enabled. This is going to be part of the release that just came out today, which had some other user interface enhancements and standardizations that were, part of this build. But the dark mode is the big the thing that I think is going to be the most beneficial to a lot of people. Because let's face it, man, I white screens now it's hard to look at, especially working it in the evening. So, almost everybody now is trying to get a dark mode working because it's just so much nicer, so much better on the eyes. So let's jump into this really quick. I want to make this as quick as I can because I know everybody's time is valuable and you just want to know how it works and what it's going to look like and what are the repercussions of turning it on. Is it going to cause any issues, especially in your customer portal? So I will just first say to you that it's not enabled, it's not implemented on the customer side. This is only for the admin pages, and there will be this will be implemented where you have the ability to use it on the on the your customer portal side, but it's going to need more options because a lot of people have customized portals that have either custom code, custom style sheets, and things like that. So we have to make sure that when we do it, you also have the ability to override it and make your own themes and things like that, which we don't have yet. So until that happens, it's going to be only available here. And actually, some people may not want to implement it even on their own staff side, only because they've also got certain CSS code that they've implemented even in this screen, and they don't want it to be changed or whatever. So anyway, we'll get into more of that in the future. I'll kind of talk about themes and how that's going to work in the future. But for right now, we just have the one mode and it's a single theme. So let's turn it on. This is the dark mode the way it exists today, and it's really easy. You can turn it off and on really easy. So you should go ahead and use it, even if it might have some it might not work perfectly, say on your with your portal, maybe based on the way you've got your header or some other customization set up, because you can turn it off and on as needed. So if it's working good enough for you for most everything, just go ahead and turn it on. And if you get somewhere where it doesn't look right or you need to fix, the screen, just toggle it off. I'll show you one area that I know right off the top of my head and that's why it still says beta, but I'll show you like where there's one issue that I noticed earlier today. But let's jump into like the user interface enhancements that were or changes that happened. Most of it is just standardized stuff. Like we had things that we were trying where we changed maybe a menu on a particular screen, and then it's just worked out really well. So we implemented it in other places so it's more standard. One thing that right off the top that I'll say is that the way that you can tell if you're looking at a transaction list, like on the dashboard here, is it'll have a little star and it's underlined. So it's a link and it has a menu. So we know that these customers are enabled. But this one's not. So previously, if you clicked on this, it would just give you an error and say this customer is not enabled yet. So enable them, and then you can start working with it. And you'd have to actually go over to the customers list and then enable it separately on the other page. And that's kind of a pain. A lot of times you just want to start working with it right here, or even more so if you're on, say, this page. I'll go to the open invoices page, and I've got a customer like this one, and I want to just send out maybe a past due notice to them, but they're not enabled yet. And I don't want to go all the way to the customer list just to do that. So I can, if I click on them here, again, there's no link there. So it's going to just basically tell me they're not enabled yet, but you can enable it from right here now. So that screen that you would normally see for enabling customers will now work pretty much anywhere where they show a transaction or a customer that you want to work with. You can turn it on right there. So another one would be like going here. I want to send the past due. Oh, it's not enabled yet. No problem. I can just go ahead and here, make sure that that's the right user and go ahead and assign and enable. It's now workable. I never had to leave the screen. I can start sending out past due notices and things like that. Or I can even open the customer. Let's view all. I can work with it without having to have changed, navigated away to another page and then come back, which makes your job a lot more difficult. If you're doing a bunch of receivables work, you want to just stay on the screen you're on and work on each one of those. So, but other things like, these parts of the interface are just becoming a little bit more standardized. The same options are there. I think we're going to move to a single button here that looks kind of like that's not a good example. Let's go to users like this. So the other one you saw like a button bar. It's like so all of the options that would be under here are basically showing in this long list, and it just for people it's too cluttered. So I'll go back over there. I'd rather just see one button there that has a drop down. These are nice because they're quick. I mean, you don't have to click on anything else. You can just quickly do things. And so it's one of those things where it's a trade-off, right? In terms of screen real estate, having a button bar, which is great, but it's clean. A lot of times you just want a clean interface for doing options. And maybe we're going to have more options available for these records, and you don't want to stick 20 buttons on the screen. So ultimately, using a menu for it is probably the best way to go. So things like that, we're going to probably be changing that too. Feel free to send out over your feedback. I'm always interested in hearing what you guys have to say about the user interface, especially as we're rolling out updates like this one. Let me know how it works for you and what you like, what you dislike, what would make it an easier workflow for you. I'd love to hear your opinions on that. Let me just quickly show you one more thing that I was mentioning earlier. Let's go to the payment screen. And again, this is only the dark mode here is only implemented in the staff side. So let me show you what I was talking about. Like if I go into, let's just pick one of these invoices for payment. And if I go to like online check, so let me just show you one I noticed earlier. And you're like, where's everything looks okay, but where's the text on the check? Well, it's there. It's just that the style sheet's off. So I'm toggling back to normal light mode, and it's there. But when you're in dark mode, it's basically defaulting to the white font, but it shouldn't be because this check paper image, whatever you want to call it, is too light. So just little things like that we need to create an override for that so that it will display properly. But outside of that, it will work fine. I mean, if you toggle this off and then you just complete the transaction and then turn it back on, it won't be any problem. You can do that just fine. So let's click cancel. The other one I know was if you pick like one of the credit card interfaces, let's turn this one on. This looks fine, right? No problem. But if you don't have a card saved, you're going to get this pop-up and the background is wrong. It should be a darker. So I can read it. It's okay, but it doesn't look great. It doesn't look ideal. So this will be fixed. A couple of little things like that are really the only ones that I could find so far. I'm sure there's other ones. But for now, that's basically it. I think when you're reading emails, if you're looking at email history, let's see, let's pull this one up. Or no, let's pull up which one has some history. This one, and you go to emails, like the white, it's not styled properly. This is a little hard to read, but I can kind of see it. So we could have spent another several days tweaking this more, but I just wanted to get it out there so people can start using it. And there were other, like I said, user interface updates that just needed to be rolled out because they were causing other issues. So it was important to get it done now. All right, so let's see here. How far are we in here? I wanted to keep this under 10 minutes. Oh, great. We're at 9 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude now because I think I got all the content I wanted to get to you today about how to use that, the fact that it's not enabled on the customer side, so don't worry about that, and feel free to turn it on and turn it off as you see fit. If you see anything that doesn't work, obviously let us know. You can go down to the help widget here, and you can click ask, and it will actually let you, depending on what time of the day it is, you can either chat or open a ticket. It'll send us a message and then just let us know what the issue is. All right, so I'll leave it there. We'll talk to you soon. I'm going to try to communicate a little bit more often through some of these, walkthroughs and tutorials and things, and just keep you guys up to date on what's being worked on and what's going to be coming down the pike. So be looking for that in the coming days and weeks. That's it for now. Talk to you soon.